Good morning, guys. Happy Tuesday morning. All right, so as we plot along, reason number 8,462,356 to grow your own food. How many of you refuse to put Roundup in your garden, on your grass, anywhere, your flowers, anything, because of the constant amount of data that comes out about people getting cancer from Roundup? I mean, you've had settlements between the company and landscapers, greenskeepers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, that all these people that have been exposed to more than a little bit of Roundup have developed deadly diseases. Well, here's the catch. The good old Biden government, this time the Environmental Protection Agency, doesn't care. It's not Roundup, it's a weed killer called Paraquat. Now, maybe you haven't heard of it, maybe you have, okay. Paraquat is highly toxical, or highly toxic, I'm sorry. To give you an idea, 1 teaspoon of it, if you ingested it, is deadly. Okay? It's well known to cause lymphomas, to cause Parkinson's, and the EPA decided in a report that they put out in the last couple of days that Paraquat cannot be used on golf courses anymore. Absolutely not. It's perfectly fine to use on food crops, though. How about that? Okay. One of the big negatives to Paraquat is that it is not registered inert once it hits the soil, like Roundup is. Okay. And so now what you have is these plants growing in soil that is contaminated with a poison. Gee, and you don't think those plants uptake that poison into the food that you eat? Yes. It's most highly prevalently used in Southern California, primarily where you have the almond crops, the walnut crops, the alfalfa crops. And people could say, well, gee, almonds and walnuts, who really cares? Because you take the food, the nut itself, out of a shell, so the chemicals never spraying on what you're actually eating. Except the fact, like I said, is it taken up by the plants because it's not, it stays in the soil and then the plants take it up that way. So yeah, you're getting it that way. Maybe in small doses, but poison in small doses still isn't a good idea. But then you get the alfalfa crops. And where's that go? Okay. Oh, that goes into the food supply because people buy animal food made of alfalfa hay, or whatever. Yeah, so now you're talking about it being in the food. That's a problem. Yeah. But the other part that comes into it is, again, where this is most prevalently used. You said 5.3 million pounds of it was used in Central California last year. Okay. Remember, I told you 1 teaspoon is deadly to a person. Well, let's think about all the great things that Biden is doing for the underprivileged people of the world by letting them cross the southern border because they just want to make a better life for themselves, right? Well, let's take a look at the communities where the almond crops are, the walnut crops are, where this chemical is getting used. Overwhelmingly Hispanic, heavily illegal, very poor, and most of the people there are farm workers who are picking up the almonds. They shake a tree and then gather the almonds off the ground, or walnuts, basically how that works. You're not going through the tree and picking them one by one. They put these huge machines on it, shake the tree, all the walnuts fall in, and they go pick up all the walnuts or all the almonds. So you have all these people that Joe claims to have such a big heart for. Oh, let them come to the United States so we can kill them. It's Joe's idea, okay? I mean, think about this. The EPA does not want this chemical used on a golf course where Joe and his buddies, go. How do you want to term it? Migrant farm workers aren't going to play golf on the weekend, okay? Golf isn't exactly what you call your cheapest sport to go play. So we've got to protect those people. But God forbid we protect the people who work on the farms. God forbid we protect the people who eat the food we produce. But hey, we'll make sure that our weekend golf buddies, Buffy and Chip, we'll make sure they're okay. This is stuff that needs to stop. And I mean, you can politicize it, obviously. You can just say it's not right. But when the Environmental Protection Agency is not protecting the environment or the people, what's the point of the organization? But then again, we can probably name a whole lot of three-letter organizations in our government that don't do anything for the people, that are completely useless. Just want to say, so the next time you go to the store and you want to buy almonds, or you want to buy walnuts, or you want to buy any produce or any meat product that is made in California, you might want to think twice about what you're actually ingesting. It just goes to say what we've talked about for many, many, many times. Find a local producer where you can ask, do you grow your plants with Grazon? Do you use Paraquat as a weed killer? Not that I'm saying, oh my God, you've got to eat everything organic. No, I'm not, okay? But when you put toxic chemicals in the food supply, the people need to get their food somewhere else. California wants to be such a progressive state. I guess with their policies, they're going to have to, because the biggest progression they're going to need is more and more people to replace the ones that they seem to have no problem killing off. Pinball out.